Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
And we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
Happy Halloween, everybody! We're back with another episode of Horror Movie Night. And this week, we are talking about 1990s The Witches, which...
Yeah.
A little bit of a wizard
Which witch?
behind the curtain. We were actually going to do 2015's Goosebumps until someone during Listener Submitted Month suggested that we do The Witches. And I was like, well, we're not doing that in September because that shit needs to be our Halloween movie.
Yeah,
So, sir, you know who you are. Sir or ma'am, I can't remember anymore. You know who you are.
You
and
didn't
thank
save
you.
that information, Matthew? Oh, my gosh.
Where's your notebook?
I can find it pretty quickly. Give me like half a second.
Nah, the deed is done, Matt.
Yeah, I was about
Don't
to say,
worry about it.
do you know
Yeah.
how fast we got to talk to get people to not switch away? We don't have a half a second.
But here's while we do that.
what's that
That'll be
sound?
perfect then. Well, so it is our Halloween episode. So I went full blown Halloween, and I just went trick or treat, which is an Imperial Pumpkin Stout from Abomination. Unfortunately, it's 80 degrees at their time of recording this podcast, and I'm not going to finish this, but I am going to drink it in honor of the witches. What about you? Oh, crispy boy.
I have a Blake's Hard Cider Black Phillip because you know who witches love? They love Black Phillip. And
love
also
Black Phillip.
another 2015 movie that we're not discussing this year is The Witch because it was on my list. It was on my list all year. Ask anybody. Ask these two guys. They know.
Yeah.
It was
And,
it was on the Trello, wasn't it? Was it in October or November?
Yeah, it was gonna because I was the lucky boy who got 2 October picks, I think, and I think whatever, it doesn't matter. And I was like, you know what? don't think that we can get a good episode out of it because there's nothing funny about it. It's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's just a good movie. Yeah. No,
I mean,
that's
it
true.
would have been funny because that would have been last week's pick if we had put out The Witch and then immediately followed it with The Witches.
Man,
it would have been a real alien situation.
I wish I hadn't said anything.
I remember, just a brief aside on The Witch, I remember going to see it in theaters and when I was living in Los Angeles, and I went with Carly, my wife, my friend Evan, my co-host, and a comedian Alan. Actually, all those people have been on various podcasts, and with the exception of my wife, only in name. But they all fucking laughed through it. I was so mad. I was I know. And then they revisited it since, and Carly was like, "Damn, that is a really good movie." I think they were just fucking jamokes. I think they were just being buffoons in the theater. So I don't know what they thought was so funny. Yeah, I was like, "This is great," and then they're like, "Shut up." Yeah,
it is what it is.
The number one thing that I know about The Witch, or that I remember about The Witch before I saw it, was people being like, "I can't understand what they're saying," and I'm like, "Well, first of all, there are subtitles, but second of all, I watched it and I thought, am I just like a little spectrum-y and I understand accents better than most people?" I don't know. Did you guys have a problem understanding what people were saying in that movie?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because I watch everything with subtitles on it.
In the theater, I think I was sort of I didn't have a hard time following like the dialogue, but I was certainly overwhelmed by sort of the detailed orientedness of, I would say it's
like
come to know
Shakespeare,
Eggers as
right? Like you can read a Shakespeare play and still get the basic gist of what it is while still being like a little confused by turns of phrases and stuff here and there. So I don't know. I think it's a good movie too. I think, hey, hot take from Horror Movie Night, The Witch, good movie.
It's a great fucking movie. Also, you know what's really funny is that we did get our witch discussion out of the way.
We did. That would have been the whole episode.
That would have been it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Horror Movie Night from last week.
We also properly vamped, so I can say Steven Stein, thank you for reminding us that the Witches celebrates 35 years this year. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to handle the plot summary here, but I wanted to throw out this really interesting behind-the-scenes piece of information before we dive into this. So this was the final film that Jim Henson ever worked on. Was The Witches. This is also the last Roald Dahl adaptation that he had any input on. Both of them died in 1990. So, like...
What? That's weird.
Yeah, so, like, kind of a crazy thing. This led to a bit of a controversy, though, as Dahl was incensed that Jim Henson changed his original ending in the script. As a gesture of trying to make this up to him, Henson offered to film both versions before he made a final choice. A book version where Luke remains a mouse forever, and a happier version where he's transformed back into a human. During the editing process, Dahl was invited to watch an early cut of the film that had the original ending, and the final scene brought him to tears. However, Henson and the director both decided that they needed to go with the happier ending, which resulted in Roald Dahl stating that he would launch a publicity campaign against the film if his name was not removed from the opening credits. He was only dissuaded from this at the urging of Jim Henson. Meanwhile, the director, Nicholas Roeg, ended up cutting multiple scenes out of fear that they would be too terrifying to children based on how his son reacted when he showed him the first cut of the film. And it's worth noting, this director is not like the world's most famous director in the world, but he did direct the extremely bleak Don't Look Down from 1975.
Holy shit.
No, Rogue's got a crazy career, and this is one of those sort of like, what the fuck? And I can't believe that he like showed it to his son as a guinea pig and was like traumatized.
I mean, this movie, I'm just throwing...
this is scary.
This movie is
scary movie.
This is a movie that I did not finish until college. I watched it. I rented it as a kid, and there is a specific scene that I think scarred a lot of children.
Oh, yeah.
And I got so scared I shut off the movie, and I did not watch it again until years later in college when a friend lent me their DVD. But all right, there's a lot of meat on this bone, so I'm going to try to dive into this. Feel free to stop me at any point when you have stuff to add in here. But we meet an 8-year-old named Luke who is vacationing with his grandmother Helga in Norway, and she warns him about witches. Female demons who hate children and use various methods to destroy or transform them. Helga informs Luke that real witches have claws instead of fingernails, so they have to wear gloves, that they have bald heads that they cover with wigs, that they have square feet with no toes that they hide by wearing shoes that will protect that, and there is a pink tinge in their pupils, and they have a powerful sense of smell where they can sniff out children. To a witch, however, clean children stink like dog droppings. The dirtier the child is, the less likely it is that the witch will smell them. Helga,
Quick question. What's your favorite trait of these particular witches? I love the pupils. I think those are fantastic.
I think the pupils are fun.
Nice.
We don't really get enough of the square feet with no toes. We just kind of get these like boxy stockings. So,
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the practical was really, they spread it pretty well, but that would have been a lot for that convention scene. I remember that convention scene being a lot more horrific as a kid because
Agreed,
I was
but
like,
it's
oh,
still
they all.
fucked.
I thought that their when they take off their shoes that they have club feet, but it's
Yeah.
no, it's just that they're in stockings. But regardless, it's still quite a gross scene actually. Even as an adult, I'm like, I remember why this made me feel like throwing up as a child.
So something that I really like as a weird attention to detail is Helga tells Luke about her friend Erica, who fell victim to a witch and was cursed to spend the rest of her life trapped inside of a painting where she aged gradually until she finally disappeared.
Love that.
But I like that there is when they get to the hotel, there is this almost throwaway shot. And I wonder if this is one of the things that maybe got cut out fully, where, your Grand High Witch looks at a painting and just kind of gently smirks to herself.
Oh, she taps on the.
Taps on it and everything. And I wonder if there was like a moment that's cut where you see a really gross, kind of aged out person screaming for help in that painting or something. But there is this very quick moment of someone's trapped in that fucking painting.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wanted more. I kind of wanted more trapped in painting moments. From the last time I watched this to now, I thought that there was a little bit more of that happening, and there wasn't. But I mean, that one's pretty scary as far as what witches can do to you, being trapped in a painting in your parents' home.
Yeah.
That's
forever.
fucked.
I think about more than I think about most things that we've watched in horror movie night. One of the most horrific things that I think we've ever covered in a movie to me is the scene in Wishmaster where the girl wishes to be admired forever, and he turns her into a mannequin, and it cuts to her human eyes staring out panicked inside of the mannequin. Because it's the idea of just being
that
trapped.
mannequin is panicking.
That mannequin is panicking. Jesus. But yeah, the idea of being trapped in a specific spot and position forever with the consciousness, still retaining your consciousness throughout it, is horrific to me.
Yeah.
Did you guys so did you see or do you know about the movie The Old Guard from 2019 or 21 or something like that? It was a couple years old.
No.
Or it might have actually been longer than that. But it's a Charlize Theron vehicle, and it's about these this group of immortals that are bounty hunters, or not bounty hunters. They're kind of mercenaries, but they kind of only do philanthropic mercenary work, but they can't die. And the whole crux of the movie is that this Elon Musk-esque character has found out about them through reading all these ancient texts and kind of putting the puzzle, piecing the puzzle together about the fact that there are these immortals that kind of show up and do good things throughout history, and wants to utilize them to create some sort of gene or some gene therapy or some sort of sequencing to make other people immortal. Anyway, and he obviously wants to become rich. The subplot of the movie is that one of the immortals was captured, tortured, and then put into an iron coffin and thrown into the bottom of the sea. And Charlize Theron's character had never been able to find her, and she was always trying to find that other immortal to rescue her, because literally that woman spent 500 years drowning to death and then coming back to life. And at the very end of the movie, I'm saying that's worse than the mannequin panicking. But the very last shot of that movie is that someone like pulls up the iron coffin from the bottom of the sea, and she like gasps and she goes, ah, screams. And then they made another one that literally just came out a couple months ago. I think it came out this past summer. It's a Netflix series or a Netflix movie. They own the rights, and so it's a whatever thing. It went straight to video, more or less, straight to streaming. And the whole thing is I didn't watch it, but the sequel is that the woman who was the immortal she went insane from 500 years of being at the bottom of the ocean, is now like out for revenge or some shit. I don't know, but
that's crazy. 500 years of solitary confinement under the ocean is nuts.
That's bad enough, but also literally dying and coming back to life forever for 500 years straight. Like that sounds like true torture.
Yeah,
like it would suck to be a mannequin. Hellacious. But I think that whoever came up with the idea for an immortal who's like drowning to death over and over again for 5 centuries is a true sadist.
That's some fucked up shit.
By the way, that's the best part of that whole. That's the best part of the whole series. So don't take that as a recommend. Anyway, continue, Matt.
Also equally fucked up. Luke's parents then die in a car accident immediately after we meet them. So that makes his grandmother Helga his legal guardian, and they move to England. There's kind of this.
Roald Dahl loves dead parents.
He does.
Loves dead parents. Yeah.
There's this kind of throwaway scene, except for obviously to establish that Helga wasn't lying about the witches, where Luke is playing in a treehouse and a witch tries to lure him away. First with a snake, which like bad starting mark. Then she goes to a chocolate bar.
I would have been gone.
Sense. Yeah.
She'd been like, hey, you want to play with this snake? I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm 7 years old.
Let me get that. But Luke stays in the tree, and the witch just walks away. Unfortunately, as if his parents dying weren't enough, on his 9th birthday, his grandmother gets sick with diabetes, and the doctor advises that they need to spend the summer by the sea, so they go to a seaside hotel. And that's where Luke meets Bruno.
Wait. His whole name is hilarious. It's I wrote it down in phonetical in the phonetic pronunciation. It's Bruno Jenkins.
Bruno Jenkins.
Also, my notes really stop at the next scene after this, which we will get to. But the first thing I wanted to say was, I have to ask you guys, are these the ugliest intro credits you've ever seen? Let me answer the question for you. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Dude, the green against the snow.
No gradient, nothing, no drop shadow, no outer glow, with the worst font I've ever seen, which I honestly think I have on my computer at some. May have it. It's a bad font. But this movie
let's remake some horror movie night credits. Just add that. Let's get some stock footage of fucking snow caps,
neon green. Additionally, this movie, its subtitle is Bedhead the Movie, because they did not have anybody checking this child's hair.
No,
the entire time.
No.
He looks like he rolled out of bed, and his parents didn't even his mom didn't even spit on her hand and push his cow leg down. But what I really want to get to is when the the witch is trying to lure him down from the tree, he's screaming for Grandma, and all I can think of is King Diamond going, "Grandma, welcome home."
Yeah.
Scott, listen.
He sounds like it.
You get me ready. You get me set up. I will make that edit.
Oh, do
Like
you
where
want
he
the
yells
edit?
"Grandma" and it goes right into the drum roll.
Okay, hey Matt. So the child is in the tree and he yells out,
"Grandma!" No, I mean I'll make a video edit. I told you guys this, but I showed Barb's oldest the movie Nope this past week because we're trying to get him into the Halloween spirit, and he had this suggestion that was so funny to me, which he was just like, someone should re-edit this movie where every time that you see the spaceship go by, it's Peter Griffin chuckling. And and I was like, part of me wants to edit this together where like it's just like you're watching the serious movie and then the ship goes by and it's like, hey. As it goes by. All right, back to
Kid's onto something.
He's a genius. So they go to this hotel. He meets Bruno. He already gets on the hotel's bad side because he has his pet mice there, and it frightens a maid. Turns out
Rowan Atkinson,
Speaking,
hotel manager.
Mr. Bean. Talk.
Yeah. He can talk.
He can.
Did you know?
He can sing. So Luke is staying at this hotel that just happens to also be where there is a convention for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, the RSPCC. But it's actually just a gathering of witches, and it is hosted by Eva Ernest, the Grand High Witch. Luke, being kind of insane, is like, all right, I'm pretty sure these are witches. Let me go into the witch's den. Apparently freshly bathed, even though his grandmother told him that, like, the cleaner you are, the easier it is for them to suss you out.
Well, this is the problem when you get told all these stories the same night that your parents die.
Yeah, you kind of forget
that you're
some
going
details.
to be stuck on witches forever. And at some point, a squirrel gets its nut or whatever the fucking phrase is. That's definitely not the phrase. What's the?
I think a squirrel gets his nut. I've heard that.
Yeah, it seems right. But at some point he's going to be right. At some point Luke is going to be right, and it just happens to be in this dangerous situation.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been better if, because that
A
scene
blind squirrel gets its nut. Squirrels gets nuts, but blind squirrel has to get a nut. Okay.
So you know what? If
We're
I was
getting nuts
to rewrite any aspect of this, because it's so clear that it's a witch trying to lure him out of the treehouse, I would have made it where it wasn't a witch. That Luke has become overly paranoid that he's seeing witches everywhere when they're not.
Yeah.
So that this is like more of like, oh, okay, well, fucking Luke thinks that there's witches again where we're at. Anyway.
Did anybody see the remake with Anne Hathaway?
No, but from everything I read, apparently terrible.
Terrible. And I love Anne Hathaway to death. I would have watched it, but I heard.
That was the only positives I read were like Anne Hathaway's given this shit 1,000%, but this movie's bad.
That's a bummer.
He hides in the ballroom. He spies on the meeting of the witches. Like pretty much everybody who is of our age, this probably scared the shit of them as a kid, specifically when all the wigs come off and then Anjelica Huston just rips her face off to reveal just the craziest makeup applications. But she reveals her newest creation, a magic potion that will turn the world's children into mice, and they are planning to put it in products that they will send to candy stores. Bruno was given the potion earlier and is brought into the room where he turns into a mouse and runs away. I think this was the part that scared me even more than the witch reveal, because there is like this crazy... This is like peak Jim Henson is trying some shit out with puppetry. This is post Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, and like TMNT, where he's doing some crazy puppeteering, and there is like maybe 10 seconds tops of film of this giant human mouse puppet head that is screaming in pain. That fucked me up as a kid.
That is the scariest part of this movie, just so you all like, so listeners know, like, we're all in agreement here that this movie is very disturbing.
Yep.
Yeah, that part's really freaky. I think even more so than the witch reveal, because we get to like hang out with the witch in that like form for a little while. So,
yeah.
but that you were really so brief in that mouse kid hybrid, like, and he's screaming in pain, and then we don't see a lot of hybrid mouse kid hybrids.
When Luke gets
then.
caught and transformed, we don't do it a second time. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
they ran
it.
out of film.
Also, so many men in drag in this witch convention.
I'd never noticed.
It was the first time I noticed that, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
it's brilliant.
Also,
they all look kind of just uncanny and like not, it doesn't quite work, but it also works really well. It's the first time I guess this is the only second time I've seen this movie.
Same,
but
yeah.
I didn't realize that the first time.
I would also assume that it was more cost effective to dress a bunch of bald dudes up in some dresses than to buy like skin caps for an entire room of people.
Matthew, I hate to break it to you, they all had skin caps on anyway because they had boils and lesions on their heads. So
maybe
I'm guessing it was just because they wanted more ugly
boils
people.
And lesions.
Okay,
there was a
maybe.
very specific call.
It is England,
It's England, right? Who knows?
Do you think they was all like regular teeth and they weren't like prosthetic teeth? They're just like the casting call was like, "Do you have fucked up teeth? Come be in Roald Dahl's new movie."
We're trying to save money. So Luke is discovered, and after a big chase, he runs to get his grandmother.
Cat and mouse chase, Matt. Come on.
There is a cat and mouse chase, but he gets to his grandmother's room, but she's in a diabetes-induced dizzy spell. It's the exact phrasing from Wikipedia, which I just found so delightful. The Grand High Witch captures Luke and takes him back to the ballroom where he's forced to drink the potion and turn into a mouse. He runs into Bruno. Turns out that because their boys turn into mice, they are able to talk. And they reunite with Helga, who has since recovered from the diabetes situation. Helga helps Luke sneak into the Grand High Witch's room to steal the bottle of potion. His plan is that they will pour it into the soup that they'll be having at their after convention event. As the witches enter the banquet, the Grand High Witch's mistreated assistant, Miss Susan Irvin, quits since she's not allowed to be in the celebration. She's got other things to do.
It's a job to do.
Now, this whole plan works out perfectly. Something I do kind of like about this, you know what I mean? Like, in adult films, this is like a great thing that happens when you're doing kids' films. But in films that are not made specifically for children, there's always this unnecessary heightening and forced situations and forced things to keep moving into a third act. But it's homeboy comes up with a plan is a success. We don't have time for this to be plan backfired and witch turned into a mega witch and now we have to come up with a new plan to fight the it's nope, everything worked out great. So we get all these witches turning into mice, but the highlight goes to Grand High Witch, who Mr. Bean kills with a meat cleaver, as all of the people in this hotel are we got to kill these mice. This is out of control. How many mice there are. Helga finally is able to convince Bruno's parents that their son is currently a mouse. She returns him. Her and Luke return to their home, but now with the Grand High Witch's trunk full of money, as well as an address book giving the name and address to every witch in the United States. They're going to take that money, they're going to travel to the U.S., and they're just going to wipe out every witch in the world.
Yeah.
Later on,
murder, guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of brutal.
Later on at night, though,
it's terrorism.
Susan Irvin, being the only witch spared and seeing the error of her ways, has reformed herself to be a good witch and shows up at Luke's house to return him to his human form. And then she promises to do the same with Bruno. There is a truly wild shot in this transformation scene. I get it. He's a mouse. He's not going to have clothes. There is a shot of a naked boy flying through the air with just a lens flare on a portion of the lower half of his body. And I did think, we didn't need that shot. we were following what was happening.
Yeah, we understood. We got it. I didn't need that. I didn't need that ending. I was perfectly content with him remaining a mouse.
Yeah.
Truly. Like he had the fucking cool whip all the way through Grandma's house. Like he had the same way that you were just like, he has a plan and he executes it. Like I don't need him to turn back into a human boy. He was fine as a mouse. He was able to do all this dirty work just fine.
And if he had stayed a mouse, it would have been the perfect way to lead into the Ralph S. Mouse film series from here. Like, you could have just done Mouse on a motorcycle.
Come on. Come on. That would have been amazing. I mean, he could have teamed up with Stuart Little in a different world.
So many options. So many options.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
and we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
We're making an ad.
Napping
Yeah.
ads.
I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
If you were watching this with friends and people want it more, unfortunately, we didn't have any of those things, so we're going to have to pick something else to watch. I'm going to go with something else that scarred the shit out of me as a child, and we're going to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
Okay. That's pretty solid. We had said it already, but I am gonna go with Labyrinth. I think that
Nice.
it just really works nicely here.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott?
I'm gonna go with Ernest Scared Stupid because they're both
Wow.
the noses
Yeah.
of all the prosthetic noses just do it for me.
That's a really good call. It's
Well,
a really, really
also,
good call.
you could go a little bit more oblique and not do a Halloween movie because also these are both Halloween-esque kind of movies in my mind. And you could do TMNT2 Secret of the Ooze because when Toka and Raja are fed the donuts and they start burping, it's because the mutagen is like being digested. It's kind of like when children are getting turned into mice. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of
less
That
painful.
transformation scene is. I was thinking after looking at my background, I was thinking Meet the Feebles.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Nobody
When
wants
are
to
we
watch
discussing
that.
that on this show? I'm not picking it, but
I'm sure eventually it'll happen. That's just I like that movie. I don't love
I feel like that's
that movie, though.
I feel like that's a Patreon potential pick.
That's a fucked up movie.
You don't
it's
think
just
that could be a
fucked up movie?
Yeah, I know it's a fucked up
Yeah.
movie. That's why I'm not watching it without you guys
I think
making
it could
me.
be. You guys have done Bad Taste, right? You've done Bad
I don't
Taste
think
on
we've
the
done
show
Bad
before?
Taste. Have we done
Not
Bad
on this
Taste?
show. I think that was when we were a horror movie.
Rated Horror Club back
Rated
then,
Horror Club.
yeah.
As the
We've
one
actually
movie I've
done a
ever watched. I
shockingly
fucking hate
small.
that movie.
I think Frighteners and Dead Alive are the only Jackson we've ever done on the show.
Yeah, it's true.
And we
those are the
Dead
ones that
Alive
fit
was recent. Like,
Yeah, right.
All right, well, guys, tell us if we should do Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles sometime by sending us an email at hmmpodcast@gmail.com. You can meet one of us next weekend. November 7th to the 9th, I will be at Creature Feature Weekend. I don't have a ton of information on what's happening just yet, but I am like 90% sure I'm interviewing Clint Howard on stage. So
hell yeah.
So kind of excited about
Ask
that.
him about the Funhouse murders.
Yeah,
Or
dude, you
Funhouse
have
Massacre.
to. You have to.
Hey, I'm wearing this cool-ass Reanimator shirt, which you can own yourself if you go to hmnpodcast.dashery.com. You can also visit our website, hmnpodcast.com. Maybe we've got some shirts for you there. Who knows? Everything's possible. And lastly, if you want to get more content from us, patreon.com/HMNpodcast. The last part of the show, what did you watch, read, listen to, etc., that you want to talk about? I'll be kind of quick, but one of my favorite shows had its final episode. This show on Apple TV called Acapulco, which was kind of a slept-on show, but I will say that if you're looking for the good, like the feel-good, wholesome vibes that you got from Ted Lasso, check out in Acapulco. So Acapulco, very brief summary, is about this very rich man who's telling his nephew about how he became rich. And the story flashes back to the 80s when he was a poor kid in Mexico who wanted to work at this giant hotel on the border of Mexico and America, and like all the magical stuff that happened there. And through this series, we're finding out like the relationships that kind of crumbled through this time, and like he doesn't talk to any of these people, but it's clear that these are like the most important people in his life. It's very like heartwarming and sweet, and it's a story about family. It's a story about queer acceptance. It's a story about like all of like these very important modern things told through an 80s lens. Really loved it. But the highlight of the show, every single episode, is at this hotel by the pool is a stage where two performers do choreographed dances to 80 songs that they're singing in Spanish, and every single episode they steal the show, whether it's the matching outfits that they're wearing or like Barb and I have joked around that we are bummed that this show isn't more popular because we would 1000% be those characters for Halloween if anybody would know what the fuck we were doing.
What you're doing. Yeah.
But really a great show. It was a fantastic finale. You know, gotta love a 4-season show, 10 episodes a season, all 30 minutes or less. And like very minimal, like there's any drama is like drama that's handled within the 22 minutes. It's not like one of those shows where it's like, oh, we're dealing with this big problem. This big problem is going to run for the next 15 episodes and you're just going to be on pins and needles hoping for the resolution. It similar to Ted Lasso and a show like Shrinking. The whole conceit of the show is like, as long as you got friends and community, you're going to be able to get through the hard times. And you know what? It's feeling like we might have about 3 more years of hard times at max. So maybe we need to be reminded about
at the max.
important.
I think you mean at minimum, my friend.
Sorry, at minimum. At minimum.
Shit's getting dark.
Yeah, but it reminds us that it's important to have that community and those friendships that we can lean on and trust to be with us. So Acapulco, God bless you. Everybody should go watch that show. It's great.
Fuck yeah. It's not too far down the oh no, that's gonna be for next week. Okay. I watched Swim Fan from 2002.
What? Swim
dude.
fan.
Yeah. We're talking swim fan. We're talking Erica Christensen. We're talking not James Vanderbeek, but Jesse Bradford. We're talking kind of a 2000s PG-13 erotic thriller, which is not really a thing, right? But they tried. They certainly tried, and I don't. It's not a great movie, but it is less than 90 minutes. It's 85 minutes long. I don't know how easily accessible it is. I have the DVD. I have not seen if it's streaming anywhere. But Erica Christensen is pretty great as sort of like a lunatic. And, you know, all of this comes with some baggage, like, you know, crazy girl who moves into town is like not, I don't know, like it's kind of played out by 2002, right? Like, you know, we've seen The Crush, okay? We get it.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of a charm to it. It's kind of fun to dig into that and also have it be a very short run time to just get a taste of what 2002 felt like. A swim fan.
It's for sure.
And I mean, there's, you know, it's PG-13, which means that the deaths are minimal, but there's certainly not without that, and there's certainly not without some creepiness and some leaning on technology, which is a little daunting, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I had never actually seen it, but it was one of those movies that, you know, clearly watching it in 2002 was the right move. You know, like that was the time that you should have watched it, and you would have liked it if you watched it then. Watching it in hindsight, you have to want to watch it in hindsight. You can't be sort of holding it in any high regard as a good movie. It's so of its time and place, which kind of has it just has its charm. So that was I watched Swim Fan. Amazing,
pretty crazy.
It's no longer on my list for the show. It's not a relevant movie for this.
Well, thank God you watched it then.
Thank God I watched it, and that's all you're going to get. It's very similar to The Witch. That's all you're going to get about Swim Fan.
All right, Scott, how about you?
All right, so this week and next week, I need to just go over some fun punk rock and pop punk that I have found recently, because I have 6 bands that I want to mention, so I'll do 3 this week, 3 next week. So I'm going to start with a more Halloween-esque group. I'm going to go with the new Teenage Bottle Rocket record called Ready to Roll. I know I posted back last month about it in the group. They have a really great song on the record called I Don't Know What I Want to Be for Halloween. And it's a fun record. I mean, it's not like... The thing about Teenage Bottle Rocket is that it's kind of fun... Ramones Sum 41 kind of.
I was going to say they always just felt like what a modern Lookout Records band would sound like.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They're not... That's the thing about them, is that they've always been entertaining to me, but I don't think I've ever really enjoyed an entire record by them. And this one is the same. It's a good record to turn on and kind of like ignore 3/4 of it, because it's like 14 songs long. But the standout tracks are Postmortem Depression, High Speed Yoga, and I Don't Know What I Want to Be for Halloween. High Speed Yoga is one of those songs where I remember what I love about like a funny speed punk song, where like a skate punk song that's just absolutely absurd, because it's not a euphemism for anything. It's literally a song about what high speed yoga would feel like and how it would be hard on your lungs. And it's just a really fun concept. I really liked that a lot. So Ready to Roll from Teenage Bottle Rocket is all right. I don't know if I'd buy it, but I enjoyed listening to it on Spotify or whatever. So another band that is it's a solo artist, but he goes by Gato Black, as in Black Cat. And this was a TikTok recommend. It got put on my For You page. He said, "Do you miss bands that sound like this?" And it was, he was holding a copy of Art of Drowning by AFI, and I'm like, yeah. And so I listened to his new EP, which is called The Mask is Slipping, and it really sounds like late horror punk emo-esque AFI right before they did Sing the Sorrow. So that's a strong recommend. He's only got a couple EPs out. Like, it's fine. It's just him. But, I would love to hear a full length from him. And the last thing I will mention is not really in that same realm, but it is speed punk, like emo core kind of stuff. It's kind of like if 4 Year Strong was good. But it's not as good as Newfound Glory. It's just got, it's like kind of like more easy core Newfound Glory, better hooks than 4 Year Strong. But it's called
I feel like I know exactly where on the spectrum that lands.
Okay,
after
good.
you say that.
Good,
like,
good.
I think it makes a lot of sense
well,
to
like,
me.
I want to like 4 Year Strong. I really do.
Yeah,
their songs are fucking boring. Their guitar riffs are cool, but the lyrics and vocals are so boring to me. And I love Newfound Glory, but they don't really do as much dual guitar work as 4 Year Strong, because 4 Year Strong actually has 3 guitarists. So this band's called In Balance, and this is another TikTok reference or referral that got dropped on my For You page. But they go if you look for them on streaming, they're In Balance CA, all one word, because I think In Balance was already a band. But they have a song called is it called shoot, I think it's called Forget Me. It is the best pop punk song that I have heard all year. But it's just a single. Like, they're these young bands that aren't doing like EPs. They're not even doing much besides a single, because that's the way that you stay fresh in the minds of of Gen Zers. You just have to drop a new song every 4 months. But really, really love that song. It is a fantastic song.
Album art too is so.
Their logo looks like they are on fucking Tooth and Nail.
Yeah.
Well, now I need to look this up.
That is killer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're great, and they have some dual guitar leads too. So I like that a lot. Anyway,
the single called "Lost as I Am" looks like Lost Asian, though, so that's gonna be that's a little bit of a problem.
It's a really good song though.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be
Good Rex.
back next week. Kyle's not letting us fully leave the Halloween vibes, because when I think of Halloweens, I think of fucking zombies. So stay tuned next week to see what zombie anniversary we're talking about.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while, because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
and we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.